This tutorial deals with the purchasing cycle within DeckEasy. DeckEasy has a comprehensive purchasing system that ensures you can quickly, easily, and accurately purchase the inventory you need for your customers' jobs. When used effectively, it can save you time when ordering and ensure that you never forget to order anything. DeckEasy's purchasing system is designed to work with large numbers, typically dozens of vendors, hundreds of jobs, and thousands of items, although it can easily work with more. For the purpose of this demonstration, we will work with much smaller numbers: 2 vendors, 3 jobs, and a handful of items. The purchasing cycle starts with jobs, DeckEasy's version of sales orders. So that is where we will start. To save time, I have already entered 3 jobs into the system. Before I go through these jobs, let's have a look at some of the relevant fields on the job card. Please note, I've hidden a number of fields on the job card to make it easier to see the relevant fields. Firstly, we have the quantity field. This is the quantity of this item we are selling to the customer. Next, we have the quantity in stock field. This tells us how many of this item we currently have in stock. The quantity available field tells us how many of this item is in stock and not reserved against a job. The quantity reserved from inventory field tells us how many of this item are reserved for this line from inventory, that is, stock we have on hand. The quantity reserved from order field tells us how many of this item are reserved for this line from a purchase order, stock we are yet to receive. These fields should start making more sense as this tutorial goes on. Now let's look at the items on these jobs. The first job has 4 lines, 3 for tough guy workwear and 1 for pretty business wear. The line for blue overalls short sleeve is a little different to the rest in that there are currently 2 units in stock, while the rest have none in stock. The other 2 jobs are similar. The main thing to note is that they all have work socks for the same color combination on them. And the last job only has items for the Tough Guy brand, while the others have items for both brands. Now, let's generate the purchase orders for our jobs. Before I do this, I should point out that there are 2 ways DeckEasy can generate purchase orders. Firstly, it can order stock for everything you have on a job, regardless of what you have in inventory. This is useful if you never carry stock or your business is too chaotic to accurately record inventory levels. Secondly, it can factor in your current inventory levels so that it only orders new stock if your current inventory levels are inadequate. This is useful if you carry stock and you keep accurate inventory levels. Which method you are using is set in the purchasing tab of the company setup. With the Create Requisitions for all unreserved items checkbox unchecked, as it is here, it will use the second method, only ordering stock if our current inventory level is inadequate. Now, the first step in creating purchase orders is to generate requisitions. To do this, we click on the Requisitions icon on the main menu. After clicking on the Generate button, it will go through all the jobs in the system and work out what we need to order and put this information into our requisitions. Here you can see it has given us 2 requisitions, 1 for each of our vendors. The requisition list gives us key details of each requisition, including the vendor, the total cost of the requisition, and the number of jobs the requisition is for. You'll note that one line has 2 jobs and the other 3. This is because one of the jobs only had items for one brand, Tough Guy Workwear, which is sold by Tom's Workwear. Now we open the requisition to see what was in it. Here we can see each job item line that the requisition was for itemized, with details such as the job and the customer it is for, the details of the item, quantity required, and the cost of the items. The only thing you can edit here is the order column. Anything that is unchecked in this column will not be ordered. In this case, we are going to uncheck all the lines for job 6, as we don't wish to do this job just yet. Now we are ready to order. We select Requisition, Make Order. The new purchase order will automatically appear. Notice that the lines have been combined. The 2 work socks lines have been combined into one. Now we can print the order. I'm just going to display it on the screen here, but you can print it out or save it as a PDF and email it if you wish. Let's flick back to our jobs to see what they are telling us now. We can see here it is telling us that a number of items are now reserved from a purchase order, the one that we just created. This is also the case for the next job. But the last job has nothing reserved against it, just as we wanted. Now we'll assume a few days have passed and we have physically received our goods from the vendor. We open up the purchase order again and make sure the quantity we have physically received is the same as what we are about to receive into DeckEasy. And the unit cost is correct, as the cost in our system might be wrong. In this case, the cost of work socks has gone up 10 cents, so we make this correction. Also, the vendor made a mistake and sent us only 15 work socks and 5 of the blue first blue overalls. To indicate this, we change the quantities as follows. Now we received the stock into DeckEasy by posting the receipt. When the receipt is posted, it prints out a receipt report. This tells us what was just received and what jobs they are for. This is used to ensure you know exactly what jobs you can work on now. Let's go back and have a look at our jobs now. As we can see here, the quantity reserved from inventory column now has values in it, telling us the quantity that is reserved from inventory for this line. As you can recall, we didn't receive enough socks for all our jobs. This is indicated by the difference between the quantity and the quantity reserved from inventory on our second job. We can now continue processing our jobs, knowing which lines we have received stock for. This concludes the purchasing cycle overview. Please note that this was only an overview. DeckEasy has a lot of functionality in this area that was not shown. This can be read about in the help files or in other documentation on our website.